Good afternoon. It's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the afternoon weather update. We do this every day here at 2:30, Monday through Friday. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So if you are joining us from YouTube or Facebook and you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. Hopefully, I'll be able to address any questions or comments that you might have as I go through the forecast. But if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you. So let's get started here. What are we watching for the next several days? What are our headlines? Well, we've got high pressure in place today, and that's keeping us nice and cool and quiet out there. We've got plenty of sunshine, some partly cloudy skies. Temperatures are well below average. They're down into the 60s for our highs. And we're going to stay cool through the end of the work week. And then we've got some more scattered rain on the way for this weekend. So that might be impacting some of your outdoor plans for Memorial Day weekend. And it looks like we'll remain on the cooler side even as we go through next week. So here is a look at those current temperatures. Sitting at 67 here in Evansville, 68 for both Owensboro and Henderson, around 70 in Madisonville, around 65 up towards Jasper. The further north you go, a little bit cooler because the cloud cover is also a little bit thicker, so that's blocking out some of that sunshine. And looking at temperatures across the region, maybe you're traveling today for Memorial Day weekend, headed up to Fort Wayne. Temperatures are only in the mid-50s, but going further to the south, down towards Nashville, we're almost topping out at 80 degrees right now, 80 down towards Memphis. So a pretty nice day across the board for the entirety of the region. And then as we get into tonight, we'll continue to stay nice. We'll have mostly clear skies. Temperatures will drop down into the upper 40s. So it is going to be a bit chillier out there. I know a lot of us probably have our windows open. You may want to shut those tonight. It might just be a little bit too cold out there to leave them open. And then looking ahead to our Friday, it's going to be another nice one as well. Mostly sunny skies, temperatures topping out once again only in the upper 60s to lower 70s, so still below average for the end of the work week. But hey, it's comfortable out there, and a lot of us do have graduation ceremonies coming up today and tomorrow, so if it's outside, at least you won't be too hot or sweaty. So good for any sort of outdoor celebration. Looking at our future radar here, we do have some moisture dropping in from the north. So we could see a few clouds pick up overnight tonight, maybe even a sprinkle through that as well. But then we start to clear out again as we head towards early Friday morning. So waking up with plenty of sunshine, not even a cloud in the sky. We could see some clouds percolate a little bit later in the afternoon. And then as those clouds pass by to our southwest, we could also get grazed by maybe a sprinkle overnight Friday. But I think pretty much the entirety of the daytime Friday will have no threat for any sort of precipitation at all. So all good to round out the work week. Looking at our rain and storm chances through the next 7 days there, you can see Thursday, Friday, the driest days of the 7-day period right now. Saturday, originally maybe looking a little bit wetter, now maybe trending on the drier side as well. So we could see a few showers Saturday. The rainiest days of the weekend are going to be Sunday and into Monday. So let me show you what the longer range models are showing for that time frame. So here we are on the European model. This is Sunday. This is early in the morning. We can see we've got an area of low pressure building off to our west, kind of sitting over the panhandle of Oklahoma. As that moves in from the west, it's also going to drop down to our south. That's going to send in a few batches of showers and rain through Sunday morning, but we could actually clear out of here by the time we get into Sunday night. However, with that low still hanging out to our south through the weekend and into the beginning of next week, we'll hold on to the chances for at least a few isolated to scattered showers Monday into Tuesday, possibly lingering into Wednesday. But I think by Wednesday, most of us will be dried out. So looking at rainfall amounts, we also were expecting maybe some heavier amounts of rainfall just a few days ago. That has also trended a little bit drier. So now some folks could pick up as much as just a few tenths of an inch across the northern portion of our viewing area. Folks mainly south of the Ohio River have better chances of seeing maybe up to an inch or up to 2 inches in some spots, especially if you're caught underneath a heavier shower or a downpour. So looking at our temperature outlook from May 28th through the beginning of June there, so this is from the Climate Prediction Center, we are below average already, so it looks like we're going to stay that way even as we round out the month of May and start June. So we'll take a look at those temperatures coming up in just a second. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast temperature trend. The average high is around 80 degrees this time of year, and we'll be below that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and even into Tuesday, we'll start to climb back up towards more normal levels by the end of next week, but we could still remain just right around average. So it doesn't look like we'll have any huge warm-ups headed our way for the end of the month. And looking at precipitation chances, so our overall pattern could be drying out a little bit more, so we might start to see more average amounts of precipitation finally, or maybe even slightly lower amounts. I know we've all been hit pretty hard here this spring with rain and thunderstorms, so hopefully that starts to relax a little bit. But looking at another outlook of kind, the NOAA Hurricane Season 2025 outlook just came out today. So we're looking at potentially 13 to 19 named tropical storms or hurricanes. And then of those storms, 6 to 10 of them are expected to be hurricanes. And then of 6 to 10 of those storms, 3 to 5 could be on the major side, so Category 3 or higher. And looking at the names, here's a list of those names. We know everybody likes to look at those names to see if you're on there or not, but you know, we've got Andrea, Barry, Chantel, Dexter, Aaron, Ferrand, Gabriel. Got some Humberto, Imelda, Jerry, Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa, Nestor, Olga, Pablo, Rebecca, Sebastian, Tanya, Van, and Wendy. So those are the names so far this year. And looking at our hurricane season climatology, how does this stack up? How does this forecast stack up to what is normal for this time of year? Well, it is slightly above average or right around average for this time of year. So looking at what's normal for storms that form in the hurricane season, we're looking at an average of around 16.3, and looking at the average of hurricanes that form during this season, we look at around 7.8 storms. So right around 8 storms and right about 16 tropical storms there. But the highest years we saw back in the early 2020s, we actually went over the alphabet and had to start using some of the Greek letters there. So with this season, not expecting, you know, a huge blowout of a season, but again, could be right around average or even above normal. And looking at our 7-day forecast, just to wrap everything up in a little bow here, we've got more sunshine on the way for tomorrow, a few spotty showers possible Saturday, but for the most part will remain dry. And then we've got more rain on the way Sunday and into Monday. Temperatures remain below average there into the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. And then as we get into Tuesday, Memorial Day, that's supposed to be on Monday, not on Tuesday. And then we'll start to clear out by the middle and end of next week. So that is all I've got for the forecast here. I am going to send you guys on your way so you can enjoy the beautiful weather that we have outside. So we'll be back here again for your latest news and weather headlines at 4, 5, and 6 on 14 News. We'll be back here on all streaming at 9 o'clock tonight. That'll be with Jeff Lyons. And then, of course, he'll be back on air at 10 o'clock for the late night show. So until then, everybody have a great rest of your day and stay safe.